You ever lock your own gate and somehow end up as the villain? That's exactly what happened when I met the worst Karen of my life, the HOA president herself, who decided that my yard was apparently a public path. Her son even called 911 on me. What she didn't know was that the gate she tried to destroy would expose something much darker, a secret deal buried right under our lawn. My name's Kirk Jordan, and for the first 2 years in our quiet cul-de-sac of Cedar Crest Meadows, life was simple. My wife Pam tended her tomato plants. Our golden retriever Buddy chased butterflies, and I had a little corner of heaven by the creek where I could just sit, breathe, and listen to the water. It was peaceful until the Wilsons moved in. Karen Wilson was a Category 5 hurricane in yoga pants. Within months, she became the HOA president. Suddenly, the neighborhood had a new religion: beige mailboxes, 2-week holiday limits, and public shaming for anyone whose trash cans were visible past 9:01 a.m. Her teenage son, Kyle, was a carbon copy of her, loud, entitled, and obsessed with his dirt bike. Their favorite shortcut to the creek? My side yard. At first, I thought it was harmless, until the day Buddy yelped and hid under the porch because Kyle's bike came within inches of him. That was my line. I walked over to Karen, tried to stay calm, explained the issue like a civilized neighbor. She smiled that tight plastic smile and said, "Boys will be boys, Kirk. They're just enjoying the community's natural resources." When I reminded her my yard wasn't part of any community resource, she leaned in and whispered to Kyle, "Keep using it. He'll cave." That's when I realized this wasn't ignorance. This was entitlement weaponized. So I built a gate, not some fortress of solitude, just a clean cedarwood 4-foot gate with a simple latch and a hidden deadbolt. It matched the fence perfectly. The first time Kyle and his crew saw it, they kicked and rattled it like cavemen discovering fire. I ignored them. But one afternoon, while I was flipping burgers, I heard shouting, and then saw flashing lights, a police car. Apparently, the HOA president's son had called 911, claiming I'd blocked a public path and was holding them hostage. Karen marched across her lawn like she was leading a protest. "Officers," she declared, "this man has illegally barricaded public access. My son and his friends are trapped." Pam stood right beside me, recording everything on her phone. The older officer, tired eyes, old-school mustache, walked to the gate. He looked at it, sighed the sigh of a man who's seen too much stupidity, reached over, flicked the latch, and swung it open. "This," he said slowly, "is how gates work." The younger cop snorted. Kyle blinked. Karen turned every shade of purple imaginable. As they left, the older officer leaned close to me and muttered, "I get the feeling this is just starting for you." He was right. A week later, peace shattered again, this time through the mailbox. A crisp white envelope, HOA violation notice, charge, unauthorized structure. Fine, $50. The structure, my gate. I laughed, then got serious. Pam and I made a new folder on her laptop called HOA War. That night, bourbon in hand, I read the entire HOA covenant, all 150 pages of it. And there it was, page 87, section 9, paragraph B. Fences and gates are permissible on side yards, provided they match the aesthetic and do not exceed 6 feet. Mine was perfect, legal, impeccable. I sent a formal appeal quoting the bylaw verbatim, certified mail. 2 weeks later, rejection. No explanation. Fine increased to $100 plus late fees. Then the flood began. Grass too tall, 3.14 inches. Garbage cans visible too long. Each letter came with another $50 fine. And then came the night patrols. At 10 p.m., flashlights swept across our windows. Pam checked the Ring camera. There they were. Karen and her henchman Gary, prowling like raccoons in reflective vests, inspecting our house with military precision. That's when Pam said, "We need to see it all at once." We cleared an entire corkboard. Every letter, every photo, every violation notice went up. It looked like a crime investigation wall. Red strings, printed bylaws, receipts. It wasn't paranoia. It was preparation. One night, while Pam was reviewing footage, she froze. "Kirk, you need to see this. A drone. Hovering above our backyard, camera pointed straight down at our patio. That was it. The war had officially gone airborne. I wanted to grab a bat and take that thing down. But Pam stopped me. "If you break it, you're the one committing a crime." She was right. So we used her brilliance instead. Pam identified the drone model, found FAA privacy guidelines, and learned it was illegal to film over private fenced property. The next evening, she set up her DSLR on a tripod and captured it again, this time clear enough to read the FAA registration number. For 3 nights, we documented everything: timestamps, flight paths, altitude. Then we struck. We filed a police report and an FAA complaint attaching photos and logs. Then we sent a certified letter to the HOA board. We are being subjected to drone surveillance. Evidence enclosed. Reports filed. We didn't accuse anyone directly. We just created a paper trail. The drone vanished instantly, but the fines kept coming. Weeks later, Pam gasped while scrolling through public records. "Kirk, I found it." Her voice was shaking. She'd been searching HOA minutes and zoning requests and uncovered a string of emails between Karen Wilson as HOA president and Marcus Thorne, a VP at a company called Creekview Developments. Attached was a site plan marked Creekside Beautification Project. A red line ran from a future footbridge, straight through the HOA's public access corridor, right into our side yard. Pam whispered, "That's our property." She promised them a path through our land. I stared at the map. My chest went cold. Karen hadn't been fighting over a shortcut. She'd been protecting a secret deal, one that would give her developer friends direct access to the creek for a luxury eco-resort. The public path was a fake narrative to justify it. She'd been trying to push us out, to make us remove the gate or sell the house, because our property line blocked her entire project. The finder's fee, the community improvement fund, the harassment, it all fit. Pam looked at me and said, "She wasn't just petty, Kirk. She was profiting." We didn't go nuclear. We went surgical. Pam compiled everything: the violation letters, drone photos, bylaw citations, HOA minutes, and the development emails into one file. We mailed it to the county zoning board, the state real estate ethics committee, and, just to make sure, a local reporter who covered municipal corruption. No dramatic confrontation, no yelling across lawns, just the quiet confidence of people who finally had truth on their side. Within 2 weeks, the HOA board called an emergency meeting. Karen Wilson was temporarily suspended pending review. Gary resigned. And for the first time in months, our mailbox was empty. A week later, I sat on my patio, beer in hand, watching the sunset paint the creek gold. Pam sat beside me, smiling softly. "Peace," she said. "Finally feels real again." I nodded. "Yeah, and the gate stays." Because that little wooden gate had done more than protect our yard. It exposed the rot hiding behind perfect beige fences and manicured lawns. It proved that even in the pettiest suburban wars, truth still wins when you stand your ground and document everything. So, to anyone dealing with their own HOA hurricane, document everything. Stay calm, never fight dirty, and remember, sometimes the smallest gate can hold back the biggest storm.